Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. What a turnaround that was for Wolves. Once again, Molineux becoming a really difficult ground for teams to come and play at. And ever since we switched to the back five, really, since that Manchester City game, Wolves have been fantastic at home. And you look at every single home game that we've had so far is against teams in European competition. They're good, well, bar Spurs actually, but Spurs are up there at the moment. All the other teams have been in European competition, and we've gone toe-to-toe with every single one. I understand, obviously, Spurs have got their suspension and injury problems, but I don't think you could take anything away from Wolves' quality performance today. There were times that we had to dig deep, but I felt throughout the majority of the game, we had a lot of the momentum. Obviously, we conceded very early on, which we'll talk about. But overall, the fact that we can fight till the last kick of the game shows that we've got something about us this season and that we can achieve something. I just want to cast our minds back 11 weeks ago when Gary O'Neill was appointed. Everyone expected us to be really, really struggling. And of course, there's still a long way to go this season. But at the moment, if our home form can stay as strong as this, Wolves will be absolutely fine this campaign. But look at the starting lineup. It's exactly what I said on the preview. Jean-Rick Bellegarde coming in for Sasha Kalajdzic. João Gomez returning for Tommy Doyle as well. I think that needed to be done. That's the sort of team, obviously bar Bellegarde who comes in for Neto, that's the sort of team and the midfield duo that have grinded out some good results for us so far and beat the likes of Manchester City. We couldn't have got off to much worse start, to be honest. Though Brennan Johnson scoring a good ball in from Pedro Porro and Johnson diverting it in. And I thought, oh no, it could be one of those afternoons for Wolves. But thankfully, we dug deep. We really restricted Spurs for the rest of the game. I think they only had a couple of shots on target. I think we restricted Son, which is the big thing, really. That's how we did it against Manchester City. Really restricted Erling Haaland. Didn't allow him to create anything throughout that game. And the same again with Son. I don't think he even had I had money on him to have a shot on target, and he didn't have a shot on target. But throughout the 97-8 minutes, we looked really solid. There were moments of the game where we just lost our head a little bit and sort of got a little bit frustrated. But throughout the majority of the game, we just kept Spurs at bay, did what we needed to do. I think that game was perfectly set up for Pedro Neto. The amount of space there was in behind, especially in the wide areas. We saw Semedo have a lot of the ball there. Ryan Aït-Nouri looked really sharp going forward as well. And I think if Neto was on that right-hand side today, he could have caused some real damage to Tottenham Hotspur. But going into half-time 1-0 down was frustrating, but I still felt Wolves had enough in them to get something out of the game. As the clock was ticking, I was doubting myself, though. I think we struggled really to create clear-cut opportunities. Again, there were times similar to the game at Bramall Lane last week where Wolves, it almost felt that we were going to try and walk the ball into the back of net instead of testing the Spurs goalkeeper. But we dug deep. And you know what? I mentioned at half-time, maybe we could see a little cameo from Matt Doherty today, because I know it was many years ago, but in these sort of games where he used to get a lot of space in that final third on the right-hand side, he used to create opportunities. So I wasn't surprised to see him come on for Semedo eventually. And just the Semedo and Bellegarde combination on the right just didn't quite work out for me today. I think obviously they have not played a lot together at all, so that will come with time and game time together. Even the Neto situation earlier on in the season, the first couple of games, him and Semedo, it took them a little bit of time to get going together. But before Neto picked up his injury, it was a fantastic right-hand side. And maybe that's why. Another frustration was probably the corners. We had a huge amount of corners today, and it felt like João Moutinho was back taking them. Very few were actually beating the first man, which is obviously a frustration as well. I'm sure Gary O'Neill will be working on that over the next couple of weeks or so. But, the substitutions again changed the game. And I think, Pablo Sarabia has not had a great time at Wolverhampton Wanderers, but he's come on and completely changed the game, scoring the equaliser and getting the assist for the second. And that's the beauty sometimes of these sort of players, that Wolverhampton Wanderers are so lucky to have a player of Fabio Sarabia's quality that we can bring him on. And every now and then, if he can win us a few games this season or contribute to a few wins this season, I think it's £5 million or €5 million, unbelievable business. But you can't take anything away from his finish. A fantastic ball up, great control, and a beautiful finish past the Spurs goalkeeper. And I think at that point, everyone, the excitement around the ground was fantastic. We thought that we clawed back and grabbed a point from the game. But just going into stoppage time, I just knew, because we switched to a back four, which was brave, but the right decision by Gary O'Neill as we were pushing for the game. I just felt that there was going to be one mistake in it, and it could have easily been for us, because there were a couple of times where Spurs did get in behind. But if Spurs make an error or Wolves are quick on something, we could take advantage of that. And the referee, I think it's Tim Robinson, just very stop-start. I felt some of his 50-50 decisions went the wrong way. Gave that one foul for Wolves, very quickly taken to the right-hand side, and Pablo Sarabia, a beautiful cross. And all it needs is somebody, you're probably thinking Cunha, Kalajdzic, just on the end of it, just to put our toe on it. Mario Lemina's up there. It's 2 consecutive home games now where he scored a goal, and a crucial goal at that. And it's a lovely, lovely little finish. And I thought he was absolutely amazing today, Mario Lemina. I thought he was phenomenal in that middle of the park, just so comfortable on the ball, driving us forward at times, supporting the back line when it needed to as well. But overall, guys, it's an absolutely massive 3 points for Wolves going into the international break. Takes a huge amount of pressure off again, and then we can look forward to the remainder of the month for the next games. Fulham away on the Monday night. So massive 3 points. Gary O'Neill again, fantastic. I mean, the tactical changes, the substitutions worked well. You would say that Wolves were probably the better side, but I still think, Tottenham, and fair play to their away fans, by the way. I thought that away end atmosphere was probably the best that we've seen so far at Molineux. Yes, they had their injuries and so on, but from their midfield and attack, it's a really strong team still. And even the back line have got a lot of European and international experience. So it wasn't a bad Spurs team by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, it was a little bit disjointed, but I don't think you could take anything away from the Wolves' performance, and it's a fully deserved 3 points for Wolves. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.